England will restore some pride and make Ireland really work for the Grand Slam. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. What a testy old ticker that was if you're an Ireland fan watching that game. Let's get into it. So Ireland are on the attack early. They're looking a little off. Passes are going to ground. They're knocking on. Willis manages to get in over the ball, win a turnover for England to clear. He, I felt, had a great game for England. England also, they just made a mess of the breakdown. I've said before, when teams have gone at Ireland, it's the breakdown. They've gotten to their ball, they've slowed their ball down or turned it over. And the only difference now, I think, with Ireland is that they can adapt to that. Sometimes it takes a bit of time, but before you could get in and do that, and you'd be able to then dominate them for the rest of the game. But Ireland errors continue. Sheehan overthrows at a line-out. That was his first miss of the Six Nation. Line-out wasn't great today. It did kind of steady as the game went on. Ireland then, they kick clear. Arundel tries to go for a run down the wing. Ireland kind of let him go a bit, then they isolate him. Hansen gets over the ball and wins the penalty for Ireland. I thought Arundel was a bit naive at times, trying to make breaks, but Ireland seemed to have a plan for dealing with him. That was one of the things that was going right for them in the early stages. A lot of other things not going so well. I thought, they overplayed a lot of times, especially Tyke Furlong and a few others as well, going for kind of out the back passes when maybe they weren't on. England, though, they're on the attack. They work themselves into the 22. Ireland get pinged for not rolling away. Farrell opens the scoring from the tee. 3-0 to England. They're looking the more composed team at this stage. We then have a period of kick tennis. Arundel decides to run another one back. He gets isolated again, and Ireland win a penalty. They go up the line for the penalty. Ireland are beginning to apply some pressure, win another penalty in the 22. Sexton goes early, but he gets held up over the line. It's a goal line drop out to England. It feels like Ireland are just trying to force things at this stage. No need really to go early there. Just kick into the corner or off for a scrum, whatever you want to do, or a tap, and go from there. Ireland are looking nervous, and at that stage they're making me even more so. I was nervous before the kickoff, so at that stage I'm just crazy. Porter, then he gets penalised for taking it to Lifter in the line out. England go for the post again. Farrell splits them. 6-0. His kicking is from poor the Six Nations, but he was really on it today. Ireland come back on attack. We have breaks from Sheehan, and Keenan sees him go to within a few metres. Passes, though, don't go to hand. Lowe throws the ball to England. And you feel like Ireland, they need to score to settle themselves down at this stage. Sinclair then, almost as I'm thinking that, concedes a penalty at the breakdown. Sexton decides, we need to get on the board, points to the post, puts it over, and with that, he becomes the record point scorer in the Six Nations of all time and makes it 6-3 on the day. Ireland then managed to strip Genge in the tackle, but they lose the ball. They're not looking after the ball at all. England kick it through. Keenan then slices his clearance kick. So many people in an Irish jersey today making uncharacteristic errors. Line out to England then in Ireland's 22. England, they bash it up through Tuilagi to go through the phases. I thought Tuilagi, he definitely did get some go forward for England, but he got cut out on defence as well a few times. And I'm not sure whether he's the answer for England in that midfield. Ireland, they managed to drive England back. We do have, though, some great hands from Ludlam, keeps the ball alive, but Ireland managed to force them into touch. Amani then secures a crucial 5-metre defensive line out. I thought that when Ireland were doing badly, he was one of the standouts for us. England get pinged. Penalty Ireland were able to clear. Ireland then are beginning to settle and go through their phases. Dombrandt gets penalised for a late hit on Sexton. They go up the line from the penalty. They need to be calm here. England are very competitive at the breakdown. They're defending well, and they manage to force a knock-on. Then we have the first scrum of the game after 28 minutes. Ireland push England off the ball, but they get pinged because they actually wheeled it, and that's why they're able to push them off. Penalty to England, but Ireland do come back upfield and get a penalty for Genge taking Gibson Park out off the ball. Sexton kicks that penalty into the corner. You can hear the fields of Athenry ringing around the stadium, probably for the first time really since kickoff. Ireland set up a maul. Van der Fleer breaks off the back of that maul and then gives a lovely inside ball to Sheehan, who goes through a gap, and he has the pace and power to get over to score. Sexton converts that. We're at 10-6 Ireland lead. And you feel like that was a key moment in the game for Ireland just to get the noses in front. Stewart then, he makes a rare error in the air and knocks on. And I thought England did really well with their shepherding in the game, where they were, not really blocking because it would have been a penalty, but they were, as the phrase goes, it was shepherding. They were shepherding the Irish away from the ball really well. Arundel, another issue for him, gets held up in the tackle. Ireland are able to turn him over. Sinclair then comes offside, gives Ireland a chance to go up the line from the penalty, and it just feels like the game's beginning to turn Ireland's way. Ireland looking sharper, but they knock on. Then we stop and play for treatment to Keenan, and then we see the replays. So Stewart caught him in the head with his elbow. To me, it looked like a red. TMO review to say it's high level of danger. There's no mitigation, so it's a red card. I know debate will rage though about it because that line between red and yellow hasn't been very clear recently, especially at test level. Keenan goes off for an HIA. Jimmy O'Brien is on. Keenan doesn't come back after this. Ireland go to the corner from the penalty. To go to the maul, but then Willis is able to get in and disrupt for England. Ireland come again, but then they knock on. They had extra space out on the right wing. They just seemed to focus on trying to drive their way over under the post. If somebody just had grabbed them by the scruff of the neck and said, listen, get out wide, it should have been a score. We then have a period of kick tennis at the start of the second half. Halftime score was 10-6 to Ireland. Second period then, we have this period of kick tennis. Gibson Park then makes a bit of a half break, chips over to pin England in the 22. I thought Ireland's kicking game was much improved in the second half, and they were, exploiting the fact that they didn't have the cover back there. Ireland then almost nicked the line out, but England are able to clear. England win a scrum penalty shortly after. Farrell points to the post. He makes a 1-point game, 10-9. I'm getting nervous again at this stage. Ireland are still making errors. The line out not really functioning at that stage. England, they're applying pressure with their kicking game as well. We see Sexton then make a poor clearance kick. England set up the maul, but Ireland are able to manage to turn it over, and Gibson Park breaks from there. Play is back then in the England half. We then have a bit of handbags before we restart with a scrum to England. England then win a penalty at that scrum. And you feel like the longer Ireland are going without scoring in the second half, the more dangerous England are becoming. Bird, though, managed to win a penalty for Ireland at the breakdown as England were coming on attack. Tom O'Toole then comes on to replace Tadhg Furlong, who didn't have his best game, but not many in green did today. Ireland, they drive the ball and then they whip it back to Sexton. He puts in a lovely crossfield kick between the two covering English players. It's right close to the try line. It bounces awkwardly. Watson gathers it, but by the time he gathers it, He's got some Irish players coming at him. He gets driven back over his own line. It's a 5-metre scrum to Ireland, and it feels like a massive moment for Ireland's Grand Slam now. They go through some phases from the back of the scrum, and Aki puts Henshaw over to score the try. Sexton bends in the conversion through the post. We're at 17-9. There's a little bit of daylight for Ireland at this stage. Dan Cole then comes on to win his 100 cap for England, so congratulations to him on that. Ireland, though, as he's coming on, are kicking a penalty to the edge of the 22. They up the pace, and we have some great work from Gibson Park. Hansen and Conan as well involved, and then Sheehan, it goes over in the corner. Conan did really well to, make those last couple of meters and then offload to Sheehan to put him over. And you feel that should be the game in a Grand Slam at that stage. Sexton converts it for 24-9. Doris then gets pinged for in at the side. At the breakdown, Farrell kicks a penalty to the corner, and you can feel there's an air of celebration in the crowd now. People have relaxed. Even if England scored, I feel like, Ireland have too much of a buffer for them to come back. England set up the maul. It's making good progress. So then they get the backs in as well. I think there's about 12 of them in there at this stage. They rumble it over the line, and George comes up. He's the scorer. Then it's converted, and we're at 24-16 at that stage. Sexton then, shortly after, he gets a standing ovation as he leaves the field, and it's pretty emotional for him because it's his final competitive game at the Aviva, and at the Aviva, at least in an Ireland shirt, because he's going to want to be back there for Leinster for the Champions Cup final later this year. Whether that happens or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, you could see the crowd showing their appreciation. He's been a great player for Ireland through the years. Play then is stopped for a tip tackle on Byrne by Willis. He gets a yellow card. England are going to finish the game with 13 because we've only got a few minutes to go now. Ireland go to the corner, set up the line out, get the maul. Then Herring comes off the back of the maul and drives over for the bonus point try. The conversion is missed by Byrne, who's on for Sexton now. It's 29-16. England then, right at the death, they try to repeat their trick from a 5-metre line out. They pile everyone in again, but Ireland are able to disrupt them this time. They clear. Ireland almost break, but they knock on, and that's the game. It's 29-16, and it's party time, and I can relax. Let's have a look at the stats from the game. So possession, 53% to Ireland, 47% to England. Territory was 51-49 in Ireland's favour. Scrum percentage, Ireland finished on 80%, England on 66%. Although in the game, you kind of got the feeling that England's scrum was actually doing better, but stats say differently. Line out then, 85 for Ireland, 90 to England. So, Ireland did steady that line out towards the end, and it helped them to get that platform to go on and win the game. Clean breaks, really telling here, 8 to Ireland, 0 to England. They really managed, like Stewart when he was on, Anthony Watson and Arundel, all really dangerous runners, but Ireland kept them quiet the whole game. Turnovers conceded, though, shows you, how Ireland struggled at times. 19 to Ireland and 10 to England. And a lot of those, again, were errors from Ireland there, not looking after the ball properly. But then, from an England point of view, the thing that cost them, penalties, 7 for Ireland, 13 for England. They gave Ireland a lot of chances to kind of steady their nerves and go up the line from penalties, and gave them too many chances, I felt. Okay, so England, they've restored some pride today. I think everyone can agree with that. They really made the breakdown a contest as well. Their back row, redeemed themselves today. I felt they were really good. And they've now got something to build on towards the World Cup. Again, I don't think Tuilagi is the answer for them at centres. I think when Lawrence is fit again, he's probably going to come back in there. But people see him smashing forward, that like where he went over Aki that time, and that will be on highlights reels, and people will think, well, no, you got to pick him. Look what he can do. But he was found out, I felt, in defence a lot today. And once Ireland got going as well, I felt that they handled him. Other than that one with Aki, which they didn't actually make a break from, he didn't have that much of an impact. Got a bit of go forward, but still, I think Lawrence, with some more guile and the ability to break tackles as well, is going to give you more in your midfield. Then, in terms of Ireland, like every Grand Slam has that one close call, and Ireland seem to have been sailing through the Six Nations up to now. I thought it was going to happen against France. I thought it was going to happen against Scotland. I was nervous as well, even against Italy and Wales. And then we got ours today. But they were able to pull through it. Sexton, what a player from him. What a player for Ireland. He's been amazing in the Six Nations. He's going to be missed in that tournament. Ireland now, they've secured the Grand Slam. They had the nerves, but they got through the occasion, and they now go on to the World Cup. They've got to be like one of the favourites of the World Cup. I still think France are probably favourites, but Ireland are up there with them as well. And I think today, the main thing for them was that the quality came through in the end, and that's what they're going to have to do in the World Cup as well. In those tight pool games that are going to have against South Africa and Scotland, and then if they get into the quarterfinals, in a quarterfinal, a massive quarterfinal against either France or New Zealand. But yeah, that's the game from today. But before I go, I want to say just a big thank you to all of you. The channel has really grown over the Six Nations. It's still a small channel, but it's a lot more views and subscribers and all of those nice numbers, right, since the Six Nations started. And that's down to you guys. But we got plenty more rugby to come. We got the Women's Six Nations. We got more URC Champions Cup, and then obviously the World Cup later on in the year. So let's continue that journey together. And again, I just want to say thank you to you all, and Sláinte go fóill.